Hello? Hello? Daz, hello? Whew. Here we are, another Sunday. Queco, hello? I was here last Wednesday. That's fine. Josh, hello? Harand, hello? Got some more graphics debugging to do today. 19, hello? Talal, hello? Julian, hello? Hello. I'm not convinced my normal maps are working, but I maybe I'm too close to it. So I think some of them are working. I don't think all of them are working, which is strange. User, hello. So I'll get the to-do list up in a minute. The project plan. We can do a quick review of this quarter's objectives. Well, it's all debugging now. Well, we need to improve the SSAO and do some blurring as well. But we can jump kind of straight into it. Right. So I don't think the wall normal map is working. I'm not convinced it's working. I need someone to convince me that it is working, or we need to fix it. Then we need to blur the SSAO. Then I do want to refactor the render a little bit. I know it's not, I think it's important because it's getting a little bit out of control. And then physics integration for the barrels, and then undecided. I might do this because if we've got a decent blur, and we've already got, and the render has been refactored so it's easy to work with. It's like doing bloom is not a lot of effort and might make like the red target barrel just a little bit more interesting. Then handle full screen. We need to fix up the SSAO because it has a hard-coded shader size at the moment. In fact, actually, that probably needs to go before. Steady. Where's it going? Well, this is terrible. I'm having a bad time with this. Fix that. Handle that. That might then do that. Release build, because I know I don't release build. See what breaks. See what undefined behavior that I've accidentally relied on that only works in debug. Do this. Question mark. Don't know what that means. But I mean, like I know what the concept means. I don't know what it's going to look like for us. Need some config options either in like a .ini file or probably a menu. Then levels. Then ship it, and then next project. So not a lot left to do. Not a lot at all. Right, let me show you what I'm chatting about. I might just launch this straight. I think I've still got render doc set up from before. See if this works. Just a big white screen. Right. That doesn't look right. Hang on, let me just make it. Don't know what state that was in. Okay, let's try that again. Once more with feeling. Okay, right. So I don't. So we've got. Hopefully we think we've got a normal map on the floor, right? I can see kind of ridges and stuff. Like the light isn't that bright, but I can kind of see it. I'm not and these walls here should have a normal map on them, but I'm just not convinced it's. Is it normal mapping? Is it just really subtle? I feel like when we first fixed the normal maps on these pillars, it was really obvious that they were normal mapped, and I'm just not convinced this is normal mapping. Yeah, I think there's a few things we can try. Like, first thing is, like, let's just check we're actually giving it the right, what the input is, right? Yeah, we can boost the light as well. Let me just check that. Did we make it darker and therefore it was more obvious, like the ambient light was lower? So this is pre HDR pass. So where do we render this? So this is rendering the pillar, and the inputs are these two, and then that is the normal map. I'm pretty sure that is like the normal map for this. Yeah, okay, it's fine. So it's got the normal map, and I assume it's the right order. So text 2, I think, is the normal map. We've made this mistake before. E assets simple frag. Text 2. Yeah, okay, fine. So that's doing that. So we just think it could be a terrible normal map. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to level Shrez, hello. Okay, so where do we create the point lights? They're here. So what's the R? It's this one here. So what you're saying, make it something like that. Like really ramp up the green. That might come under the. This might come under just like later polish. Get some better concrete textures. I can't remember if this is the one that came with the model I purchased or if I just found this elsewhere. That is bright. Okay, yeah, I think that might be working. Yeah, okay, I can see the shadows inside those dips moving. It's just not very obvious. Okay, fine. That was easy. Solved. God, less than 10 minutes in. Tick. Okay, so blurring the source. Nope. Assets. I have a terrible blur already. Which also has a hard-coded size, which is nice. Where are we at to? We are stream 86, so 2 hours of stream. It's about 170 hours. That's where kind of. Nope. About right. So I think we started last November, so we've been at this for nearly a year now. I see both. I should see both. I get both chats in a unified window. Lua is going to be used for basically at the moment it's just like the level logic, so the puzzles and stuff like that. So the level is like what barrels are in there and what the wind conditions are and all that is kind of driven by Lua. So it should mean that once we've finished doing the mechanics of like the rendering and the game setup, we should be able to just write a bunch of Lua levels and people should be able to write their own ones as well. That's the plan. I don't know if this is good, but it is what I've got. Well, actually, I know it's not very good because the blur is pretty rubbish on the pause screen. Yes, the next project. So I plan on I kind of envision doing like one stream project for like a 12-month-ish or like a calendar year span. So I'd like to have this done by the end of the year. So in January we can start a new one, and I will cherry pick the bits I liked from the previous project and roll them into the next one, and then refactor stuff as we need to. So that should allow me to make the next game a little bit more advanced because I would have done a lot of the groundwork already. That's kind of the plan. So like the windowing and the event code and the Lua bindings and the maths and the initial physics integration, there's loads of stuff I can kind of reuse, and then I'll just rewrite a new renderer for it. Yeah, it's going good, thanks. generally go by Nathan. Nate's quite American and not really my thing. Okay. I might just apply this first and just see what happens. I don't know if it's worth writing a better blur yet, because isn't like a good blur multi-pass? Don't you kind of blur along one axis and one another? Where's Learn OpenGL when you need it? I think they do this in the Bloom section. Yeah, they do something like this, where they do a 2-pass Gaussian blur. Yeah, there's like an approximation of it. It's not very up to date and it's not good. And next project, I want to be better at making more of it open source, but there is something out there already. So yeah, they actually blur. They call this shader 10 times. So they blur it along 5 ways and then blur it along 5 ways. I don't know if that's better or worse than what I've got. It might mean that... Yeah, I think that. I'm just going to go with the basic whatever it is. I think I've got a rough... I think this is a Gaussian distribution, right? Something maths, not really sure. Let's just apply this to the... Well, let's look at the artifacts first, right? Let's just get this back up. So I'll show you what I'm trying to do. I'm going to need another frame buffer, aren't I? Right, so if you can see here, the screen space ambient occlusion that we've calculated for like the creases in the wall here, at distance they kind of look okay, but if you get quite close, you'll see that there's a lot of artifacts in them, and that's just by the nature of how you kind of approximate it in screen space. So the idea is that if you blur this slightly, it should give you a slightly smoother rise. So this is my current blur. It does produce some banding. So I don't know if that's going to make it worse or better. But yeah, let's blur it and apply. So I think what I need to do, all I need to do, I think I basically just take this and then just apply it to where we do the here. I wonder if I can reuse one of the buffers I've already got. So let's say this, and I'll figure out what I'm going to bind in a second. So we've got an SSAO material and the post-processing frame buffer 1 and 2, but now that I've rendered it to the SSAO apply material, sorry, the SSAO frame buffer, I'm getting confused. Here, I wonder if I can just reuse one of the other 2 because I don't need it anymore, because everything here is, I just blitz this to the read buffer, so I reckon I can reuse the write buffer here. I wonder if this will just work. And then this will be the input here will be the SSAO frame buffer dot color textures front, That like that. Ah, thank you. Yes, well done. Good spot. Okay. So this should reuse it, and then everything's kind of set up to go afterwards. I'm just gonna I will run this under render doc because I strongly suspect it will not work. Okay, cool. Thanks. Am I missing a unbind? I do want to change part of this and use a really lightweight RAII wrapper to automatically bind and unbind them because I'm worried I'm going to miss some of this stuff. But that's part of the refactor, which we will hopefully get onto in a bit. Yeah, I think Queco might have moved himself up to a higher or lower ring privilege. All right, let's give it a go. See Harand is playing both sides of the streaming economy. I'm not convinced that's in any way better. Right, so let's have a look see here. So this should have drawn perfect. Can I fit? So that's that. So then we should be going into the, where is it? Outputs. Nope. All right. Draw elements. Outputs. I feel like it's not. Well, I don't think it's applied it, right? This takes the two SSAO inputs and outputs the SSAO for everything. Sure, whatever, don't worry. And then I clear it and then I draw. But this is just the combination. Yes, it took a little bit of maths and a little bit of fudging, but we figured out the render box, the skybox in the end. Like, am I going mad? Like, I feel like there should be another step here. Like, this step. I'm trying to blur the SSAO pass. I will admit, this is a little bit complicated. This is the render. This is like the heart of the graphics processing. So this is about as complex as it gets, I'd say, in this, unless you look at my logging code. But apart from that, therefore, throughout the blur. Oh, yes, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So I want to then go from back to this, right? Something like that. I wonder if OpenGL then just removed that path entirely because it knows. No, surely it can't just drop that call though. I'd expect it to still make that call. Who knows? Life is surprising. He's moved the right bind. Okay. Ooh. Well, it's certainly blurred. Can't argue with that. Okay, right, what have I done wrong? So I've written that bind there shouldn't make a difference because this is using the named frame buffer, so it doesn't have to have anything bound, I don't think. No, I'm going to need a... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I need to do it all before... I need to do it before apply, don't I? I've done it all. I've applied it, and then I've blurred it. I need to do the SSAO and then blur it. Yeah. So I've seen what I've done now. I'm kind of tempted just to like delete all this and start again. Right, I'm just going to undo this because I've made a pig zero of this and I want to go back and work my way through it manually in my mind. Right, okay, so let's take the blur. No, I just picked the first Lua implementation I found, which was the sort of canonical one. So let's take the SSAO pass here. I think I will need another buffer then, won't I? Because this... Because this... Can I just swap them there? Because won't... I need two inputs, right? I need the SSAO pass and the previous full color albedo lighting pass, right? So this takes... Oh no! Wait a minute! No. That's the position and the normal data. Okay, fine. So that renders it out into, what is that? That renders it to the right buffer. Yeah, I just need to work through this in my mind. So at the end of this, the right buffer has, the right buffer has the SSAO layer, right? Which is the color texture there, and then it needs from the read buffer, the previous read buffer, it needs the original thing. So can I? So the read buffer and the write buffer have to remain persistent between these, right? Because, as in, like, there's data in both post-processing frame buffers that I need. Post-processing frame buffer 1 has the... Oh, I mean, just jump by the main... Oh, you could just pull out the... No, you can't pull out the main frame buffer because that's not been downsampled yet. So I can't reuse... This is the whole problem we had before, is that I have to blit these down to downsample them from 8 MSA samples. So I will need another one. That's not... What's another? Yeah, no, right. I'm sure there's a... Oh, Jesus. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but... Have I... What? How have I deleted one? SSAO... Apply? What is going on? Right, okay, let's just discard that. Start that again. Okay, so SSAO blur frame buffer. Okay, so now, hang on. CT blur frame blur. I've got it blue. Okay. Yes. We all make mistakes, don't we? Okay, so I can now so I bind the blur material, i.e. SSAO blur frame buffer frame buffer dot dot bind. Okay, unbind that at the end. Yeah. Okay, so go to the blur frame buffer, take the right frame buffer from this, right? Because that's the thing we've written to. Okay, because this was bound here. We will bind that there. We will render it, unbind it, and then this should move up, shouldn't it? This should now be here. Okay, and then, oh, getting complicated. I might have to. Why am I clearing this and having? Oh, because that should be there. That's why. Okay, right. Let's see what happens here. So we render SSAO. Render SSAO to right FB. We then render SSAO blur to SSAO blur FB. Then we apply SSAO and to mainframe. And then we basically reset copy final SSAO result to read buffer for next post processing. Yeah, I know, I've not gotten there yet. So, but yes, it's a good point. So we SA blur frame buff. So that's there. So in here, apply SA to main. It needs to be which one of these is not. Which one of these is the SAO and which one of these is the main color? I think it would be. Whoa. It's this top one, isn't it? Because the second one is still the right buffer. So I believe this then becomes SSAO blur frame buffer. So after this, the right buffer has the SSAO texture. After this, the SSAO blur, the SA blur has the blurred SSAO texture, right? Yeah, and then we've replaced. No, I don't think that's right, because we're writing to the right buffer here. We need to get back the original read buffer. So I think that's here. Okay, let's just give it a go. Let's do this iteratively. Yeah, and that's what I want, right? I want the read buffer to have the colors to apply to the SSAO, don't I? Built. Oh, I see. Yes, I've definitely. So render this so to the cheeky nandos. So hang on. So we think that let's go. Please don't come to my home. Even if you have Nando's, please don't come to my house. I don't know if I go for half chicken, but I would definitely go for extra hot. Oh, that blur doesn't look... That blur isn't looking too good. I think that's demonstrably worse. But I tell you what. I know that we did SSAO frag. We were like boosting the power of it to make it more prominent. So I wonder if we reduce that down, maybe the blur artifacts won't be as bad, but it will still get effectively what we're trying to achieve by increasing the power of it. You know? It's really hard to say, like, whether what's what. I'm happy. I would rather probably have the artifacts in and just not look too closely at it than have one that looked terrible regardless. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like, I think at a glance, the previous one was kind of okay, and if you looked really closely at it, it looked a bit shite. Whereas that one, it was just all shite. So we'll see. I do feel like now we could probably quite easily, do. It just looks blurry. Yeah, you've lost a lot. You've lost all the detail on top now. I actually think it was better before. I might just, because all the nice detail we had in the ceiling's kind of gone. This is much worse. I do feel like we might be blurring too much. I think you want a much more subtle blur, but I don't know how. I can't remember what this blur does. Yeah, I think we'll just undo it and just write this off as a loss. I think it's something that we could. It's not really getting us any close to finishing, right? So I think we could potentially. Yeah, I think this is something we could polish later. I just thought if it wasn't a lot of effort, which it wasn't, it's been like half an hour, and it looks better, then that seems like a quick win. But I'm not really going to spend any more time on this. I think I might just drag that down the priority list. Yeah, I think you and me both. I also can't be bothered with any matrix maths tonight. So let's just we just discard it. Like, well, we all make mistakes. Ooh. Close-ish numbers on Twitch and YouTube tonight. Exciting. Pit you head to head against each other. I just don't think that blur shader is very good, and it might be that we need a slightly better one. I think applying a shader 10 times to get a good to get, oh, that looks so much better. Like, yeah, just if you look at it too hard, it's a little bit, but like, that is so much better. Yeah, you get all that nice detail in the ceiling now, which I think was lost before. Okay, well, so far, not off to a great start. The two things I've gone to fix today have basically either not needed fixing or looked terrible. I think we refactored the renderer. I think that's something we can do. I kind of want to do this anyway. And then that might set us up for doing blue. I think if we do blue, we will definitely need a better blur. Yeah, I would agree. So we could optimize it so it only renders to a single component image. I think I was saying this on Discord. Like at the moment, I render to a full like 24 or 32-bit frame buffer, bits per pixel, and that's massively wasteful. But what are you gonna do? Okay. So I think there's a lot of good opportunities for some slight refactoring here, because as someone pointed out, this code is pretty grim. This needs to be toggleable. Maybe we should do that first. Does the renderer have access to messages? So the renderer itself doesn't get messages, but we could bundle it into the scene and just make it a runtime check. Might do that first, actually, because I think that might be useful. Config options so far are for text rendering and for logging to file. I kind of want to toggle it off at runtime, though. I think that's useful for debugging. Never be sorry for using ranges. I will stand behind ranges. So that's actually this is words. It's actually not too bad. I think we need these two separately because I want to maintain the debug lines, right? Unless I can make that part of the... No, because lots of things... Hang on. Where does the... What fills the debug lines? Because I might not. At the moment, it just comes from the physics system, right? So this is... in update. So actually, I think this is easier than I was thinking. And debug lines. A little cheeky little flag in there. Cheeky little flag. And then render debug lines. True. And then somewhere in here, I already handle key presses, I think. Oh, do I not? Is it in the upper routine? Oh, what a pain. What do I want to do? I keep my mind keeps going back and forth between this. This is a quick change, and this is not a quick change. Let's have a look at the level routine. I think I can actually just make this auto set render debug lines ball should render, right? And then I can say if actually no, let's make that toggle render debug lines. All right, okay, keeps my logic even simpler. And then here we can say if key is I don't know, pick your favorite one on the keyboard. L for debug lines. Level toggle render lines. I can't use D because that's how I move right. that sounds like a right pain if every time I move right all the lines flash on and off. KSB, see you later. Do I have a shader code path for GL lines or how do I do it? I don't think it's particularly clever. I just do this with I have a debug lines material, which I think it just renders it as a color. So that will toggle that, and then we can go to the Lua level. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. That is just the way that I've got. Auto Lua level toggle lines void render debug equals not render your lines. And then this always gets does this always get cleared? Oh, I see. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm that fast for this. Because I'll tell you why I don't do it, is because the Jolt just gives it to you as a bunch of lines. It doesn't give you a polygon mesh, so setting the polygon mode I don't think will make any difference. I would have to construct a mesh from all the vertices it gives me and then render it. And I think that's not a lot of gains. I think there's a lot of work for not a lot of gains, whereas at the moment it just literally just squirts out a bunch of lines and says render these, and I somewhat oblige. Basically what I want, if render debug lines, I got a feeling this isn't going to work because I don't think I have the ability to reset this. Oh, maybe it gets reset for me at the beginning of the frame. Maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. Good point. So it should be all this, shouldn't it? Yeah, okay, good spot. I forgot that I don't just render the Jolt stuff. Okay, fine, let's just see what happens. Good luck. Sounds fun, I think. What's that, WebGL? Of course, we get the nice SSAO artifacts on our lines as well. Oh no, they're not too bad actually. Not too bad. Okay, so. Oh, hang on. I'm mashing. It's not what I wanted. Apparently pressing L. I bet it's not clearing them before. That's fine. Actually, well, it's not the most efficient because I will be calling it on each one, but I don't think it's too bad. Maybe you're right. Let's see what this does then. There we go. Yeah, I could do, but I'm pretty sure Vector will internally sort it out. I would expect a Vector to handle that, so I'm not too fussed about kind of prematurely optimizing that. I don't think it's going to be the bottleneck in any of this. That's nice. That's easy. That's a quick win. Wasn't even on my to-do list. I think that could just be one commit, to be honest. Tool debug line rendering. Nice. Actually committed something. Well, no, because clearing it will cause the destructor of all the internal elements to also be called. But if it hasn't got any elements, it won't be calling a destructor. It's not through the relocation, but it's yeah, I mean, I guess kind of effectively on an empty vector clearing is doing that. But obviously, if it has elements, it will have to call the destructor on them. Okay, that was nice. What was next? Let's go back to the renderer. I think there's a lot of common stuff in here that I don't like all this, this blitting. I feel could probably be. I want to hoist this out to a helper function because it's used in quite a lot of places. I think. 1, 2, 3, 4 places, but it's quite a lot of code. So, and also like you've got this gubbins that goes along with it as well. So I think we should be able to just like hoist it out and then just be able to pass in which attachments you want to blit from both of them. Yeah, so auto train return types, you can still have a void function. So it doesn't return void, it just signifies that that function is a void function and doesn't return anything. It's just how that particular syntax, it's no different to having void at the beginning and then the function name. It's just, it fits in with my aesthetic. I wonder if I'm going to come up with an issue here where, because ideally I want to pass this main frame buffer in, but if I hoist it out to an anonymous function, I will lose access to that symbol, right? Because this is private. I do wonder if I should just bite the bullet and make that public. I really want to expose this, but I don't. But I think otherwise I'm going to end up. It's going to be harder for me to abstract the code because I'm going to have to pass in frame buffers. Maybe I just want that anyway. I think I want that anyway. Private function. Private? What's that? No private functions around here. Boo, private function. Auto blit. And then we can do game frame buffer source game, and then we can do GL enum attachment. Should I go with read? What does the doc say? Do they use source and dest, or do they use read and write? GL blit named frame buffer source and dest. Okay, so source FB GL enum source attachment. It's not going to be that much smaller actually, but hey ho. I will feel better. Dest fb gl enum dest attachment. I think I always use gl nearest, but I will need the gl bit field esoteric mask, but I think I can make that equal to gl color for the majority of cases. Color, stupid spelling. The old GL color butt. Okay, let's see if we can. I mean, why would you? I'm curious why you think I would use C. Curious, like, do I give off like C vibes? What I've done here, absolutely, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not going to copy those in. I mean, they're not copyable for one. The source FB native handle, and then this will be source attachment. Probably just gonna get rid of all that. And then we're just gonna do dest FB native handle, dest attachment. Yep, and then the big one. Steady, stay on target. Source FB, dest FB. Source FB, dest FB. Nope, not even close. Technically would work because I think they're always the same size, but just in case they're not, it's silly to not do that. And then this should be the mask. Whatever, Trevor. I just have more experience with C++ than I do with C, so it's just I can just get a lot more done with it. C is, I think, it's a great language to learn systems programming and get you introduced to the idea of like manual resource management and platform interaction and manual memory management. I personally would not be doing any large scale projects in it. That's just me. Right, let's try doing Blit then with the main frame buffer. Dot frame buffer. The post processing frame dot frame buffer. Mr. GL color attachment plus I. GL color attachment plus 0 plus I, and then I can leave the default as that. So hopefully, what have I? Don't want that. I mean, that is a little bit less code. Assuming it works. We need a lot of buffer. Right, let's just see if that works. don't think I do, because I think they're all GLEnums under the hood, and the loop variable is also GLEnum. But I could be wrong. I usually am. I think we fixed it. Okay, well, it seems to be doing graphic things. Right. Okay, so that was... So, now it works. Okay, so now... So this is the... I gotta be careful here, because this is definitely the... This is where I copy across the depth buffer. So I need the GL depth buffer bit here. And then this is the mainframe buffer and the posts. Is that just the same? But I just copy across the depth buffer. That works. This is GL 4.6, like the latest and greatest from however many years ago. My opinion of Vulkan is that I think it's excellent if you know what you're doing and really need to squeeze all the performance out of your GPU, or if you've got some situation with drivers. But for what I want to do, the rate at which I can develop and iterate is much faster in OpenGL. Some great testing here. Move around, walk around. We still got the yeah. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about those black parts of the map that are incredibly untextured for reasons I do not know. Did I delete some binds? I shouldn't need binds for blitting, right? Because I used the GL blit named frame buffer. Oh, that is impossible to read. Oh, gross. I don't think I've got rid of any binds there. We are living in a square world in our skybox. Right, now let's blit again, like we did last time. Right, okay, so now I want to blit here. So I should be able to do blit and yeah, those, and then GL color attachment. I feel like those could probably be default arguments, but it's nice to keep them together. Yeah, feel free, have some dinner or breakfast or lunch or whatever, or second breakfast, whatever meal it is, and join us. Ask questions. If it doesn't make sense, ask questions. Probably doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, right, we're getting there. Got my SSAO, I've got my normal maps, I think. Sure. Got my rendering, got my skybox, got pretty much everything I could ever hope for. One more blitz to the... Ooh, this one might have to stay because I don't have a frame buffer object that represents the default frame buffer, so that one might just have to stay in there. It's not the end of the world because it's right at the end, and it makes a lot of this code up here a little bit nicer. This is just a standard forward renderer, like render everything, loop over all the lights, hope for the best. Next project, deferred. Again, I don't really have a lot. I wish I had more time to mess around with things because I've never really used Godot either, so I don't really have. I assume unless you're talking about the play. I don't really have much time for playing around with it, which is a shame. Because like once I get one video done, I've pretty much got to start the next one if I want to try and get out one a month. Well, I kind of want the series to follow almost the trajectory of like game dev rendering and stuff and like tech, because as I learn more, then I'll always want to stretch myself for the next project. So I think jumping straight into like a full Vulkan 4 plus renderer, I just spend like ages trying to get anything done. But if I start with a simple forward renderer, right, and then the next one I do deferred, right, and maybe throw in some ASDO stuff, then maybe a forward plus renderer, or maybe then Vulkan and then a forward plus renderer. I think I can incrementally build myself up to that, whilst gaining like the knowledge and some of the wisdom along the way. I basically need to make a lot of mistakes. I think just trying to jump straight into making all the mistakes with Vulkan and the 4 plus renderer is just too much to do. Whereas this is tangible for me to stand here and kind of, you know, faff around with it for a few hours a week. That's kind of my sort of long-term vision, is one big stream project a year. Each one gets slightly more complex than the last one, but builds on the previous stuff. Yeah, and also, like, again, I'm not a graphical artist. Oh, if you see me try and use Blender, what a shit show that was. So part of it is also limited by the assets you have, and I don't have many great assets. Right, I'm going to leave this here because I think that's, as in not the stream, just like this refactor here. So let's go this refactor blitting. Right, what's next? What other improvements can we do? I don't like. What else don't I like around this? This is not too bad. I really don't like this binding and unbinding. I feel like, one, it's a lot of code, and two, I'm likely to miss it. So what I might do is, I have to manually. Do I have to unbind it if I'm going to bind the next thing straight away? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I just. Like, do I need all these frame buffer unbinds if I'm just going to bind it the next one straight away? So we kind of. Yes, I will have to do some sort of UI system. We already have text rendering. It's just disabled at the moment because render.dot gets grumpy with my particular esoteric implementation of it. But we will have some sort of. We have ImGUI like somewhere, but it's kind of fallen a bit by the wayside. But I will do a little basic menu. If I remove something. Unbind. I don't think I have. Unless someone saw it there and I didn't. Yeah, and oh yeah, the post-processing effects I'm going to pull out into a separate function as well. That's on the to-do list. Okay, that's an easy refactor. Remove unneeded unbinds. No, it's fine. Do check what I'm doing. So the other one I think I want to do is so. All this makes sense. I could RAII this bind, okay, which I might do anyway, but all the post-processing effects use the same. Can I just like bind this, right? Because and then never. Does that make sense? Like everything just renders. All render calls render to this screen space quad. I don't think I need. Apart from the skybox. God damn it. Oh, but I can unbind this, right? right? And then after here again, I can just, I literally don't need all these. I even use it for the UI, right? So I don't even, I just need to unbind it at the end. Mate. I will bring back the UI actually just to check that works. But it's gonna be a big rebuild. Oh, yeah, I want to, I don't know, maybe improve the build system slightly for next time. One of the things I want to do for the next project, because I've been thinking about the next project a little bit, because I don't think January is really that far away. And is it so tempting just to go, I will just jump straight to the next project now. But I think I need, I need to, if I can't make the easy project, I definitely can't make the more complex one. So I am remaining diligent with this. But I want ImGUI to be a much bigger part of the next one. Like I think everything toggleable part of adding that feature should be to wire into ImGUI, which is kind of like ever present, so we can easily mess around with stuff. That's kind of the plan. Yeah, I don't think we're a million miles off. What have I done with 134? Oh, I see. Yes. So yeah, better separation of stuff. I think next stream, next project. There's a huge amount of lessons I think I've learned from this, but I want to make sure I learn as many as I can by absolutely finishing it, and then start off afresh with the new project. Nice. Okay, so we got so you can see the text rendering in the top left there. So it has full Unicode support, which is nice. Did I see? Did it have it in the first screen? I didn't see it. Oh yeah, fine. That could probably do moving down or up slightly. Okay. So simplify sprite binding. Now we're getting somewhere. Right, okay. So blit. No, but you can find my dot files on GitHub if that helps. The question was, do I have any videos on my setup? I've sometimes thought about doing a video on my setup, but it's just YouTube is so funny about keeping content consistent, and I just obviously you can still do like the odd wildcard video. I mean, views are down at the moment across the board on YouTube, so it's quite depressing anyway. So I kind of, as my self-worth is somewhat tied to the view count I get on my videos, I'm very much incentivized to try and bring that back up at the moment. Okay, a lot of this, I think, is... I'm just trying to work out what I want the abstraction here to be, because HDR and grayscale and blur are basically all the same. Given a frame buffer, you clear it, you activate a material, you bind the previous one to it, and then you swap them. So that could be a function, but what I'm trying to work out is whether this could be part of that function, or whether it's too complex. I could lambda it. Yeah, there's always the idea of that, but then it comes down to time, right? And again, like if I only have a finite amount of time, I have a family and I have a full-time job, and that kind of takes up the majority of my time. I get a few hours in the evening to kind of either stream or work on projects. So with that amount of time, I can pretty much do one video a month. And I don't really, like, I've had to basically stop doing shorts as well, because even that was taking up too much time. Oh, I opened up the video editor to do some shorts the other day, and I was like, So anyway. Kale, hello. Indeed. I mean, lambdas are pretty sweet. The problem is though, like these fundamentally these are all the same, right? And I don't need to, if I lambdaed these up, then I would basically just be doing the same thing. Whereas I think I might just keep this separate. I don't think there's any. I think just to reduce like this amount of code is kind of nice in and of itself. So let's take this, slap it here and do auto apply post processing effect. I have no idea what I want any of my arguments to be yet. I kind of want the swap to still work at the end, so I think I need to do something terrifying. Right? Indeed, right. Can I have a reference? Precedence. Yeah. That does accept it though, so let's just keep going. Someone pointed out as well, and I do agree that material is quite poorly named because it doesn't have any of the concept of like material inputs like the tint or the specular amount or the emissiveness or anything like that. Material is probably should just be program, because which then takes two compiled shaders. So stuff like that would be a good opportunity to kind of rethink next time, because I would like a better material system. Const game sampler, and then what am I missing? Const game mesh. That's right. Oh, hang on, steady. Okay, if you agree, if you insist. Could even work. Could even work. Yeah, it's a big hefty method. Yeah, I don't know. Is mesh that badly named? I guess that should be. I guess it's basically mesh buffer. I guess technically, mesh data. We already have mesh data. I want to try vertex pulling on the next one anyway. I will probably plan out the next project better as well. Like have a list. I should have started off with something like this from the start, rather than just like in main to game. Let's go. So if this, then apply post-processing effect to the read FB, the write FB. I can't remember what the rest of the arguments were. They were doing something like HDR material, theme docs, which is reuse the skybox sampler because it's easy, and then sprite, and then Gamar. FBFB material sampler sprite. FBFB material sampler sprite. What's it not like? No matching cool. You gonna tell me which bit doesn't match, or am I gonna have to ask MSVC for that? No, I want to pass the FBs in as pointers, right? I want to maintain their pointerness, but I want a reference to the pointers so I can still swap them. If that makes sense. That should be right. Where's was it? Oh, this is const qualifier. Thank you. I completely missed that. Const frame buffer to. But they're not const, are they? Unless from const frame buffer pointer. I guess is the pointer itself const, which is fine. Then I guess it's like hang on, const is left binding, so do I need something horrific like that? Then I can't swap them because they're point. Oh no, wait a minute, I want to pointer to const. There we go. Getting all the syntax out today. Just need more const. It's const correctness gone mad. That kind of like surprisingly, that was HDR, wasn't it? And it's definitely HDR in. Always shocked when things work. Grayscale material. This is so much nicer. What was this one? Or blur material? And then favorite cuisine. Ooh. I think it depends. Pass. I can't remember how it handles unbounded. I think I allow it because I need it somewhere else. I think it's fine. Yeah, they were fixed because they were never broken. I wasn't looking closely enough. I don't know what my favorite cuisine is. That's a great question. I never. Big fan of like Italian food, I'd say. A lot of French food's good. British. Love a Sunday roast. Okay. Refactor post processing code. Okay, let's see. Are there any other sort of quick wins we can have whilst we're here? Yeah, it's fine, mate. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I feel like is this needed for every label? And also, don't I set the GL uniform buffer like right at the start, and it won't have? Oh, I do need to change it because it's an orthographic camera, isn't it? Yes. Orth camera. I feel like this is unnecessary. I feel that should be like that. And if that's the case, I could probably pull that out into another function for just writing the camera data and kind of crush that down a bit. Yeah, I know, but I don't need to write that camera data to that bound uniform buffer for every UI item, do I? Apparently not. So let's have a look. I feel like this now becomes simpler because I'm basically just doing this, right, for a given camera. So I don't see why I couldn't take this auto write camera data to UBO. Great function name, one of my best. Camera. Oh, I'm gonna need a buffer in there, aren't I? Get rid of that. What's my camera buffer when it's at home? That's just a buffer, mate. Just a buffer. Game again, buffer. Not a great name. Could mean a lot of different things. Void is what is going on there. Okay, so we can do copy. What do I call it? It's like camera, write camera data to UBO. Nice. Camera and camera buffer. Hey, what are you chatting about? Yeah, matching structs might have made. So I get what you mean by matching structs. I was kind of keen to, when I was designing it, to keep the kind of game engine-y bits, not as a game engine, vocabulary types different to OpenGL ones, as in like I wanted to communicate in terms of like vectors and optionals and things that made sense when building out the game, and then convert those to the OpenGL specific types when I needed them. It does mean I take a slight performance hit. However, I think it makes the rest of the code cleaner. Whether I do that going forward, I don't know. It might be easier just to pack everything and say this is what the data looks like. But that was my thought process behind that, was I deliberately wanted a separation between the two. Why is it not like this? What my computer, tell me. Losers qualifiers. I thought that camera was const. Yeah, but like what's it complaining about as const? Because this camera is a const ref, and I'm accepting it by const ref. Camera buffer cannot possibly be const. And this is it's a const method. Is that? I bet the way yeah, of course it's const, but the implementation of buffer is all the methods are const, because although you're writing to it, you're just calling OpenGL functions and you're not mutating the state of the class. Good one. I think we might need to refactor the Lua level code as well a bit, because we're going to be munching in even more collision detection logic soon, and I think it's just going to be absolutely nightmare to work with. Refactor camera data writing. Okay, anything else that's worth doing? I'm not sure if I want to do the auto bind and unbind. I'm not sure what it really gets us, other than, I guess, to be honest, actually, it's really not a lot of code, and it would take a few lines out. So let's just do it super quick. Template class T class auto bind public private T obj auto bind T obj and then do obj. So I can do this on anything that is bindable, and then on the out, auto bind obj unbind. Right, so Clang format, make that how I should have typed it. Thank you. And then where are we binding things? So this can become auto bind auto bind equals auto bind mesh. Well, that's lots of autos and bindings, but it's fine. It's nice because it works on anything that has that method, so we should be able to do I guess we're being super strict, which we should probably. There's no reason for that not to be const itself. So this is actually only exists within this scope now, so that's nice. So we can do that, and then we can do sprite, which actually tidies up this code a little bit. So actually, yeah, I think this one's worth doing. And then so now we can do it on the read B. We can use it in the above function as well. The hell this? A little bit gross, but this will become that. And that. So let's bind that for all that, which is nice. That's it. I know, yeah. It's really funny that, because so someone was mentioning like people got very confused when I kept deliberately mispronouncing Windows 11 H2S2, whatever it is, as the various yes, I know, I'll get to that in a second. To the various different, like, H something or other, HP Pencil, HS2 to Birmingham, blah, 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 blah. I generally think there is humor in mispronouncing things. For me, anyway. But it's really funny you mentioned that specifically, because I use like AI for various bits and pieces, and I normally pass my script through like Gemini 2.5 Pro because I find that pretty good to like just sanity check, like, is there any obvious technical mistakes here? Because once I've recorded it, it's very hard to kind of redact it. So it's like, does this flow? You know, the usual things you'd ask AI, like don't rewrite it, just tell me, does this kind of flow? Does it make any sense? Are there any obvious technical errors? And for that video in particular, it was like this, it literally said something like, this is not funny, do not put this in. And I was like, well, I've got to do it now because I can't have an AI tell me what is and isn't funny. I need AI to help me do monotonous tasks, not try and suck out humor from my life. So, it's not going to work if one's a pointer and one's a reference, is it? Fine, I'll have to. Oh shit, I'll have to think about that. I need to. Oh, gross. No, that's fine, because what I can do is I should be able to just do that. What's this all complaining about? Oh, because now that should definitely be a dot, yeah. Optional debug lines, fine. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did find that particularly funny. The internet is a wonderful place sometimes. Mesh is not. Where have I passed a mesh? Is that sprite? Have I got more pointers than references? Well, these are all. That's a reference, isn't it? Where's it taking a mesh? Ah, here we go. Okay, it's happy now. Right, I'll have to move this declaration and definition above this. Let's put this at the top. Stop like that. And then auto bind equals. Nope, that's also an anonymous namespace. Auto bind star read FB. Alright, let's see if that works. Changed a lot there. Not really been checking it as I go along. Also, the problem is though, is anyone outside of the UK probably doesn't understand. Well, no one in the UK understands HS2 to Birmingham, but like you have even less chance to understand outside of the UK. Nailed it. Was it right? Yeah, I'm using CMake as much as one can. It's okay. Like, no need to apologize because it's an absolutely valid question. Where's my text gone? What have I changed? What have I what have I changed? I know what I've changed. It's that sprite is then no, sprite is still bound. It was working a second ago. What have I done? Like what? I find it very strange that I can't even put it through render.doc to find out. I find it very strange that that is the only thing not to work. Disable text off. Make run. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure because I've not got a massive rebuild, but let's just double check anyway. No, my text has definitely ceased to be. Why would that be? So it's going to go through the labels. I probably just need to look at this in Git, don't I? So replace that replace that with that. But we had it working, didn't we? I feel like the only thing that changed was all this nonsense. So bind the sprite for the SSAO pass. Oh, I missed a bind there, but that's fine. We can fix that in a minute. That binds the read one. It no longer unbinds the sprite on the outside because... Oh no, sorry. It bounds... Oh, because I've indented them all. So that's now there. Then these are all inside, so that's fine. Ugh, horrible diff. My Git isn't... This is not how I... How strange. I hate Unify. What? How strange. I hate unified diffs. I prefer side-by-side. I have my thing normally configured to do it. I wonder if I've not put that into this. Hold on 1 second. I'm confused now. Do I need to install that? Hang on, sorry. Oh, I'm missing something. That's why. Okay. Install Git filter. State. Just everyone bear with me while I fix up my tooling. All right, let's try. Nope. See project. Okay. How strange. I don't think lazy git is. If I do git diff, I get side by side, but lazy git isn't picking it up. Yeah, maybe, but like it's. But there's like pure lazy git like outside. Why is it not picking up? Sorry, this is not interesting for everyone. Uh, Git config. Sorry, keep my git config off screen. Diff filter equals delta color only. Yeah, that should. No, I'm pretty sure it does, because if you look at, this is a issue with lazy git, it basically says it should use the interactive mode, which is what. Anyway, I'll fix this off stream, but it's just annoying me. Unless I just need to update it. It says it's not supported on Windows, but I'm definitely not on like Windows, so technically. How strange. Anyway, fine. Problem for another day. I'll just have to suffer through this now. Diff. I don't have a diff command. There, let's just go through this now and I'll fix that later. I wonder how long it's been like that for, and I've only just noticed. Anyway, unbind the sprite. Move all these in. This is all fine. And then okay. I build a Windows executable, and then through WSL magic, if you launch it from the Linux command line, it just launches it in Windows for you. Let's just git stash this, right? Let's undo these changes and just check what it is I've done. I'm not that fussed. Like, the auto binding thing is nice, but it's really not. It's not a deal breaker. If it was a primitive I was handing out to like users, then yeah, I would kind of probably, like the Lua script, I would probably force you to work your way through an RAII wrapper, like the script runner. But for this, it's an internal implementation detail. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, I've definitely balked something there. That's interesting. Let's go get. Well, I'm kind of interested now what I've balked. Let's just view a proper diff. So that bind became an auto write bind. I wonder if it's something to do with dereferencing it, although that will turn it into a reference. Mesh bind, get rid of the unbind. Yeah, I do wonder. You could be right. Just a sprite bind. So read. Then these are all fine because these just keep going through the same shenanigans. And then here, the sprite is bound because it gets bound up here in this scope. And we know the right camera data to UBO works. Line 271. Have we? Yeah, because it gets autoed here, right? It's weird that everything works apart from the text rendering. I don't know, because then the skybox wouldn't render, right? It's the fact that everything works. All the post-processing effects work. Everything works until you get down to here. And the sprite mesh must still be bound because all the post-processing effects work, right? We can grayscale and we blur, we can see the HDR, that all fine. Then we go use the label material. I mean, we could try putting this in back in per frame, but I really don't. How strange. Very strange. We don't need to unbind because the next thing will just bind over it. At least that's the working assumption. How bizarre. Hello. I have some dot files available. Maybe that's what you're after. I'm tempted just to revert this because it doesn't really add much. It cuts out a few lines of code, but at the end of the day, maybe being explicit is better for this. So, oh, sorry, yeah, this is Tmux, yeah. Let's git stash this because I'm just not that fussed about it. Okay, I think that's kind of the refactor done. One last try. Sorry. What was the trying autobind refactor before the label loop? Here. Don't pay too much attention to that. I mean, I wonder if ideally the auto bind should be a variadic template that allows you to take multiple things and bind them. But I think now we might just be getting a little bit out of hand there. Well done. Good spot. So the issue was what's the best way to fix this? Because I really don't like bind to. Sure, whatever. It's fixed. Refactor binding. Wasn't there another bind actually we had? Wasn't there in the skybox? Should be able to do auto const auto bind equals auto bind skybox cube. And get rid of that. Oh, that's so annoying. Like I suppose it would have to be well, I just feel put out at this point. Do you know what I mean? I don't have context for 4 yet. I know Haran's watching and thieving. It's not context though, is it? Can I fold? How do I iterate through compile time and get it to generate the bind for each one? Obj dot bind. Hang on. You'll just call anything with bind on it, but I just how am I going to do it for the unbind? Because that's not right, is it? So it should be that. Hang on, wait a minute. No. Okay, I got that. There we go. That's it. What is that? I think that will that fold, left fold over the comma operator. Does that work? It's the most important thing. I'd be shocked if no, there's no way that could work. I will just use bind too. Oh, but I mean, like, I've got 10 minutes now. Like, I gotta see if I can figure this out. You can't bind an L value to an R value reference. Classic. What line was that on? Cannot use templates to auto bind. So it doesn't like. I wonder why I can't, because that's a forwarding reference though, so it should bind to either an L value or an R value reference. And you should deduce it, right? Nah, there'll be no macros here. This is interesting. Cannot convert argument 1 from const mesh to const game mesh ref. What am I? Let's just get rid of this. Let's see if I can construct the damn thing first. By const object must be initialized. Surely that's not the issue. Where's the first one? 129. Cannot deduce template arguments from non-space or to bind. Anonymous non-space or cannot convert argument 1 from const frame buffer to const game ref. Interesting. Can I just not do it with const objects? Because it will try and move them. This will perfectly... Oh, is it because... I bet it's where I dereference it, which technically gives me an R value reference. Const auto fb equals right fb. I'm just trying to figure out what the error is. So if I does it like this? Interesting. Okay, I thought that might work. Because that's definitely an L value now. Need super plus 26. No, I can just have a const eval for loop. What's it like 29, 30 countries? Const game frame buffer to const. I feel that's... Am I missing something here? Because is that not a forwarding reference? So should that not bind to either? And then I just shuffle it on. I guess the issue here is it's going to try and take a copy of it. And I don't think I can take that as ref there. Can you have a tuple of references? Because actually that is the issue. I don't want to take a copy of it. It definitely doesn't like it on like why I'm on here, auto bind 32. I wonder if I just need to be a little bit less explicit with this. Where's the ampersand go on that? Is it there or is it there? No, definitely not. It's definitely there. It's accepted that. This should, I imagine this will crash or it won't render because I'm not actually doing the... Yeah. But now, right. Why does it not like that? T to occur exactly once in types. I thought that won't work because the whole point of the expansion pack is that this should expand this, which it knows is a variadic expansion pack. And it should just do this comma bind this comma bind this. So why is that? Where else do I use fold expressions? I definitely use them somewhere else. Static set failed requires T to occur exactly once in types. Can I just not do this then? One was if I instead do the size T IX auto index stud get ix objects dot bind this, and then do stud make index sequence t dot size of dot t. Why is it? Thanks for putting that all on one line. Why is it not like that? Expected that for function. I feel like that should work. I'm missing a. What am I missing? Pretty sure that's. Oh, yeah, bottom. Okay, we're getting there. No matching call operator found. Oh, is this that weird thing where if you want a template, have I got to do dot operator. To get it to deduce the to get to correctly deduce the template arguments. I feel like I've fallen down a rabbit hole here. Could not deduce. Yeah, can't deduce. Why can I not deduce it? Hang on. No, I'm pretty sure that should work. Sorry, with the make index sequence. Oh, hang on, I know why. What do you mean this is not used? It's used there, mate. What are you talking about? IX parameter must be expanded in this context. Yes, you are right. Oh god, where? No, it's also because I need. Can I just do that? Yeah, I might need to do that. I feel like I'm pretty close. How do I expand the index parameter pack here? Unless I actually need to turn it to the expression like we had before. Oh, right, yeah. Nice. Oh, what's not to like? What is not to like? Do I actually still need the dot operator there, or can I just invoke it manually? Even easier. All right, let's see if this works. Not that I'm actually using more than one bind at the moment. It's yes, and in fact, actually, because of the scoping, I think I still need bind 2 in one of the places. This is just to prevent me using it in one place. Oh, that was a hard crash there. Okay, fine. This might not work. But I'm kind of invested now. Like, why would this not work? Other than all the obvious reasons. I just feel like I can solve this. Compiler's fine with it. The compiler's like, yeah, it's fine. It's the fact that it's a hard crack. I'm just gonna have one teeny tiny look at just one teeny tiny look at the crash. Just one teeny tiny look at the crash. Not this one. Where's my other? Do I have another window? File, open recent game. Right. Just one little look. This one, it's gonna be so nice when it works. Think how nice that will be. Is that not like really nice, beautiful C++? What? Finish with exit code 0? What? This? What? Outrageous. How could you in any way even yeah, it's because when I first started streaming, I used to use VS Code, and I found that this being on the left made all the code shift a lot when I wanted to open and close it. So putting it to the right means all this code stays in the same alignment, and now I kind of just gotten used to it. Right. Okay. Whoa. Everyone, calm down. Whoa. Where's the first time we use it? It's probably in. It's here, isn't it? I wouldn't get too hung up on this because I clearly cannot get it to work. Right. So what the hell is objects at the end of all this? It's definitely got in there. Yeah, exactly. Like that's, and the only thing I'm wondering if I'm tripping. I presume you're not making a copy of this because these things are non-copyable because they will use auto handler, auto whatever it is, what do they call it, auto whatever, my non-copyable resource handler thing. My brain's gone dead. I can't think of it. So this, presumably, so this has access to this, which has access to objects, which has access to this, which, ooh, weird state. What is this weird state? Auto release, thank you. I thought I was going mad. Ooh. Curiouser and curiouser. I saw something strange in the memory there, where it looks like it was uninitialized. I mean, this should make the tuple. Can we forward on to somewhere this goes out of scope? Okay, let's. What is object in this case? Well, where are we calling it from? It's a mesh. So let's go mesh CPP. Let's bring that over here. Really tiny up our window. So unbind. Does this get called? No. So yeah, it's definitely something around. I feel like it's something weird about passing into that lambda. Because let's run this again. Pause it here. I shouldn't need this because, like, otherwise, what the hell is this object referring to? I mean, you might be possibly right. That's not my understanding of it. So that here, this, what the hell is the difference between this and this? Right? Something strange is going on here. Because this should just give you a pointer to this. Right, I mean, I can try it. I'd be very surprised if that fixed it. Ooh. I actually want to stop at the beginning here as well. Before we call it, excuse me, before we call it into the lambda. So forward here. So we haven't invoked the lambda yet. This definitely has this tuple with one element in it, and it's got all the governors in it, right? It's got the data. So if we now go into, so I think this is now on the invocation of the lambda. Yeah, strange. Let's not finish initializing it. Here we go. Why have I got this? This is obviously some sort of MSVC implementation detail I'm not acutely aware of, because I've got this, and this, all with different incantations of underscores and casing. One of them will be the this. One of them will be the this for the anonymous class that the lambda has generated, which we are executing on. One of them will be the capture this from the outside scope. And I don't know what the other one is. Yeah, I'm going to assume that this is... But they're all locals, which seems strange to me. See, let's ignore this one, because I don't know. I assumed this is the lambda, right? This is the lambda. The dunder this is the captured this, which in here is all garbage. Oh, actually, I probably could use the call stack, can't I? I'm being stupid. Here we go. So I'm in. So here, this is the auto bind. Here, this is the lambda, and then I guess this here is the 458. 458 is the captured out of this, which has all the gubbins in it. So I don't understand why. I'm not getting this called on it. Oh, I'm fed up saying the word this, by the way. So I have to do my head in. What is it calling that on? Like, what is it? Make index sequence of size t, which will be 1. So that means it will generate me an integer sequence, a stood integer sequence of 0. Yeah, it's definitely like a memory corruption somewhere. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm going to have a play around with this because it's annoying me, but I think I will git stash this and think about it another day. Cool. Well, I'm gonna have a couple of beers now and try and recreate it in Godbolt, I think, and have a look around with it. Because I think I just need to see the assembly. I just need to see what's dumping out. Anyway, wasn't that fun? What a fun way to end. Yeah, but anyway, so what next stream we'll do, unless I have an epiphany with that, I'm happy to leave the refactor there. So actually, let's commit. So we're going to do some physics. Next stream, we're going to do some physics. So on Wednesday, we will be making sure the barrels don't clip through the walls. Undecided if we're going to do this. And then it's literally just like, but it's kind of like fixing up stuff and a few quality of life improvements. And then this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun when we go to stream it. You'll have to get used to seeing the upper right 3/4 of the game. 6 streams left. And then yeah, we're going to bash out some levels, and then it's going to be fine. Bish bash wash, done. I may concede, and rather than doing a full menu, have this as just like a text file that you load with the game, and then you can change it through that, at least in the first pass, to get the machinery of loading in config and percolating it through the system. And then if we've got time, we'll make it into a menu, because I do want to kind of get this wrapped up by the end of the year. Yes, that's true. Yeah, add screen size. So let's change that. Can I? Fine, we'll just remember when we get there. Apparently, I cannot rename that once you made a ticket. That is it. Okay. I actually had really good fun today. It was good fun fixing some bugs, not fixing some bugs, refactoring some stuff. I always enjoy a good refactor, playing around with some stuff. Trying to do some advanced C++, which I clearly failed at, but I will go think real hard about it now. Other than that, cool. Thank you very much for coming along, and I will see you all Wednesday.